meeting. That was good. That was good.
Is anybody here? Hello? Anyone here?
Bueller. Nobody understands that anymore. That's like a 60-year-old
No.
movie at this point.
No, I'm surprised you even know that one.
What are you talking about?
Well, it's a little before your time,
No,
literally.
it's my time. I
Before you were
hated
born.
that movie. It's a bad movie. It's an objectively bad movie. But
What?
I know what it is.
How is that an objectively bad movie?
Ferris
What's bad
Bueller
about
is
it?
terrible. And Ferris Bueller is terrible. He's the worst. I wish nothing but bad things
He
to him.
showed Cameron that there was that
That
you
all
could
you
enjoy
had to
it.
do was just be a confident white dude in the middle of a city, and anything will go. Oh, I hated Ferris Bueller so
The
much.
Anish version of Ferris Bueller. Anish's day off ends
Oh,
with
that
Anish arrested for Grand Theft Auto.
immediately.
And riddled with
Immediately.
bullet
And my
holes.
friend is trying to convince them that I'm just in the car. It's like, no, absolutely not. This is the 90s. We can't have this.
We could go for an hour if you want on Ferris Bueller. There's no way. First of all, I reject
No, it's terrible.
the notion that it's a bad movie. It's not a bad movie.
I want to bring up Nate Reiner's comment right now. Finally, the last time we talk about Nebraska. Oh, how little faith you have in us, my friend.
It is so easy to start every show. And I have a Nebraska nugget to start the show off tonight. And it's not even related to our experience being at the game. Many of you were there as well. Oh, by the way, welcome to the Handsome Hour. It is Jay and Anish the Swami. Right now, it's a traditional two-man.
Two-man and a two-man tent. Oh, okay. So we got plenty of room today.
Oh, yeah, we can roll around in here. Nate, yes, says finally the last time we will talk about Nebraska. No. So I learned today, and some of you who obsessively refresh Twitter in between your Zoom meetings probably also saw this. Anish, I don't know if you saw this because you're a hardworking person who doesn't have time for shenanigans throughout the day. Trev Alberts revealed what his metrics were for Scott Frost this year. You ready?
Oh,
do you know this?
Oh, no.
So he told Scotty Boy, when he remember how they reduced his contract, they restructured it.
They did the Jim Harbaugh thing where they
I don't know if you knew this. I don't know if you knew this, but Frosty had a way to go back to revert to his original contract. Do you know what he had to do? He had to win 6 games and go to a bowl.
The bar could not be. The Nebraska jokes write themselves.
But let's not even before we even get into that. In Scott's defense, shouldn't he have been allowed to coach the season then? Or at least until they were eliminated from bowl contention?
It's true.
Because they could still go to a bowl game. It's not even close to out of the realm of possibility. But
what's so weird is then zooming out even further in that, like, they fired him a week before his buyout dropped by $7 million or whatever. And so it's like, either it was so clear early that things were going bad and Scott wanted his money, or he was going to get a chance to win back his full buyout, right? It turns out old Scotty Boy didn't have the answers.
But if he had done those things, and this was in writing, it reverted to the old contract. So I replied today to one of the beat writers for Nebraska, and I said, if they go to a bowl, does Scott get his contract back? Because I think that's in writing. So, I mean, that would be the ultimate. Like, Scott Frost's agent turns out to be a diabolical genius. And it's like, well, it says right here that if Nebraska, it doesn't say if Scott Frost, it says if Nebraska goes to a bowl game, then Scott Frost gets the remainder of his contract. Which I guess he did anyway.
Frost, he can attend the bowl game too, so Scott Frost could go, right?
So, Kevin and ABQ, I'd like you to bring up his comment. 27 of us in here, only 2 likes. Smash that like button.
Exactly. Smash the like, smash the subscribe. You get the little bell dinging so that you know whenever Boiler Dad goes live after the games and midweek.
Oh,
that's the best.
Noodle says they have to say something I like first. Yes.
How dare you?
Exactly.
How dare you?
So, for the first time all season, it is a legitimate Nebraska football is a legitimate topic to start the Bold Sports Handsome Hour. Purdue did what Purdue does. They rolled up yards. But they did that thing where they just 40 minutes of possession, 600 yards of offense on the black shirts, baby. And somehow it came down to a 6-point win. I don't understand this team. It's Bizarro Purdue. And if you saw the name of the show or you pay attention on Twitter, you know that Anish and I drove past a sign that said East Lafayette and realized that that must be where Bizarro Purdue lives. And there's all these weird things happening there. And we're fully in East Lafayette right now, I think, because I keep wanting to argue in favor of, like, why isn't Purdue ranked? They're 5-2. It's like, yeah, but I haven't felt really that
But
great
we've
about any of
watched
these
the
wins.
games. We've watched the games. Like, we know we're not that here. So, like, objectively, it's really funny because, like, there's an Iowa guy, or sorry, Illinois guy at CBS. Tom Fernelli was like he was doing the blind resume thing, right? Where you bring up two teams and whatever, and one of them's ranked and one of them's not, and that's your way to show that the rankings are frauds. And Kentucky and Purdue on paper have the same resume in terms of wins over projected bowl opponents, wins over top 25 teams, margin of victory. Both of them have one kind of win that you can kind of throw out. It's all very small. Kentucky is ranked something like 19th or something like that, and Purdue is like just outside the top 25. I think we're 26th. So, first of all, when you frame it as ranked versus not ranked, when in reality Purdue is 26th instead of 25th, like, that's a little bit dramatic. But then also it's like we can't get too angry about it because it's like we lived these games, man. Like, these games have taken days off of the end of our lives with the amount of stress that's being released inside of us. It's terrible. And then Brahm in the post game was like, I hope Purdue fans get used to this because apparently we're not going to win a game by a comfortable margin.
Well, and fans always do that thing where they're like 5-2, yeah, but we're like 64 seconds away from being 7-0. Yeah, you're probably 4 minutes away from being 0-7.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, 1-6. Let's say that. I think the Indiana State game was well in hand the whole time, but
it was the biggest case of, like, I think their quarterback is bad. Like, I think Nebraska's quarterback is actively bad. My case in point was in the third quarter after, what was the name? Palmer. After Palmer, again, this one-man wrecking crew of a wide receiver, this Rondale Moore, Charlie Jones, David Bell-esque of a wide receiver,
rolled into one,
just single-handedly carries this sad quarterback. It's sad Nebraska offense to any semblance of movement, gets him inside the 10, and the quarterback misses not one, right at the goal line, not two, right at the open outside corner, but three, a wide open in the back corner to tie the game up. Wide open. 3 straight plays inside the 10, 3 straight pass plays that Purdue coverage is completely busted, and he can't just make the simple pass. And so and basically, like, all we were allowing were those anywhere from 35 to 85 yard completions and runs after the catch by Palmer. And it was like, just stop 2 of them. You stop 2 of them, this is a blowout. What are we doing? Why?
Well, I don't know. Is Trey Palmer really that good in general? Like,
he's good.
Yeah, but
he might not be that good.
That's his second 100-yard receiving game of the season. So let's pump the brakes a little bit.
Does it count as 2 because it was a 200-yard
game? 237.
Wow.
And then everyone was like chirping about.
Wait, tell me how many yards Iowa had last week.
I don't know, but I'll find that for you.
Yeah, thank you. Or the last game they played, I should say.
Yeah, were they off last week? I guess they were.
Yeah, they were off last week. But it doesn't stop me from making Iowa jokes. I'm going to do it. We're here for Nebraska hate and Iowa jokes every weekend.
Iowa is still 3-3. I mean, they're 1-2 in the conference.
Defense. They should hire more Ferences.
They have, let's see here. They have not scored a touchdown since, what day was this game? October 1st.
Okay, there you go.
They played against Michigan, and they scored 2 fourth quarter touchdowns. a 2-yard run and a 5-yard pass. You wouldn't want anything any longer than that. There's no need to do that.
It's inefficient. Why would you do such a thing? What's the
Oh, now,
upside?
hold on, it's auto playing stuff in my ear. That's my favorite thing about ESPN's website is just auto playing videos right into your.
It's a
into
startup.
your
They're
audio.
They're a startup.
They're
Man.
just learning how the
you
internet
gotta give
works.
them a little bit of time. It's fine.
Oh, but your friends at Iowa get to play Ohio State on Big Nude Saturday on Fox.
Oof.
At Ohio State.
Oof.
Oof.
Man. CJ's gonna have a game. He's gonna have a game.
Oh, CJ Stroud. Oh man, that was great. For those that didn't see it, Brian Ferentz was asked last week, why not consider starting someone other than
Petrus.
And he said, what's the upside? I mean, it's incredible. Like if someone said that to Brom,
having the worst, 18 months of having the literal worst offense of 131 FBS schools.
Yeah.
That's the upside.
Yeah.
Seems good. Seems like a reason.
By the way, speaking of Iowa offense, Charlie Jones, who formerly played there, was back on his horse this weekend. 12 receptions, 132 yards, and 2 touchdowns. TJ Sheffield also caught 2 touchdowns. And there is talk that Brock Thompson is not far from returning. He tweeted out there that he's getting close.
Because the bowl game is getting closer and closer. And then we can go play Kentucky or someone, and he can ball out.
Charlie Jones on ESPN's site is listed as questionable, which I don't like seeing.
Well, it was probably because of that late cheap shot that he took
tackled?
right before the game-winning catch the game-sealing catch that he had on a 3rd and 11 to seal the game. That, by the way, like AOC was in. We'll get to Maccabee, who is the player of the game. Maccabee was the player of the game. But some of these throws that AOC was making, they were perfectly. So we have the seats that we were at were low and kind of in the corner, like maybe like 10-yard line, like 10, 20-yard line ish. And so for some of these throws, you can see, and especially the ones on the other end of the field as they're going the other way, you might not be able to see the specific, yard marker that they're at. But when he's throwing to his left, you can see these small, like throwing these slants to his left. The small windows that he's throwing to, first of all, when he releases it, there is no wide receiver there.
Nope.
Like his anticipation is like an NFL quarterback. And again, he shouldn't be an NFL quarterback, but he so clearly possesses the skills to. He so clearly possesses the accuracy and the poise and the just like calmly going through his reads. It's incredible. And the timing that he has with Charlie Jones, and today with TJ Sheffield was incredible. That play, that 3rd and 11 to seal the game, he's reading the safety bit down on Payne Durham, and he just floats it above him, kind of triangulated right between those 3 defenders, the biting safety and the 2 corners behind him, right to Charlie. Right, Charlie gets it, goes down, seals the game, limps off because the play previous, Nebraska cheap shotted both Payne Durham and Charlie Jones, which just classy bunch of black shirts.
Well, talked about it in his wrap up. I mean, he said, kind of smart coaching because dare them to call it because they obviously could tell things weren't getting called. And I'm sure the coaching staff said, you cannot let them get this first down. So if you take a penalty, you take a penalty, but don't let them get the first down. And they literally took out Purdue's top 2 targets, and AOC calmly used the wheels. Just put it in forward. There's no extra gears. There's just forward.
That sweet 7.240. Just like tractor speed.
You just put it in forward and chug away. Pick up what did he need? A yard, 2? Something like that.
It was a long one. Like it was a long one. So and by the time you take it in shotgun, like he needed to run about 5 yards to get to the marker. He calmly juked, one linebacker that was there, as you do,
as an athlete does. Brian T. There, you may want to put that one up. He says, "Do you see AOC playing on Sundays? If so, where's the best fit?" It would have seemed unheard of like just a couple of years ago, but I don't think he'll be playing in the NFL. I think he'll absolutely get a look the way that guys like Blau did, because I think there's a reputation, and not even
Yeah.
just now like Brum now. I mean, like years of quarterbacks coming out of Purdue who at a minimum are good practice squad backup
Yep.
guys because they know how to play quarterback. They know
Hmm.
how to sling it. And if you ended up in a situation where you needed to go to your practice squad
Yep.
quarterback, you got a guy who, Blau proved that in that Thanksgiving game a couple years
Yeah.
ago. Like he acquitted himself nicely.
I
Great
think
guy
I
in the
think
locker room.
AOC I think AOC ends up higher on depth charts than Blau, which is kind of again. If you
Yeah, but
transport me 3
AOC's
years
got
ago,
this.
it's insane.
Yeah, but Blau never struck anybody as a prototypical NFL quarterback, right? He
No,
always kind of just seemed like I, he almost to me always felt like a converted quarterback. That's what he felt like to me. Like not the guy you draw up as a QB to play in the NFL. AOC just
it
throws the
looks.
ball, reads
It
that way,
honestly
looks that way.
again like Sindelar. We talk about Elijah Sindelar in terms of a dude that has all the tools, right? But like the refinement and the feel for it wasn't quite there. But like if you need if you need somebody to rocket a ball 10 yards right into a receiver's pocket, like Sindelar's your guy. He's gonna stand in there. He's gonna take a hit. He's gonna deliver it. Like that's the kind of typical, like prototypical, quarterback size. But AOC makes it look so effortless, man. Like it
Yes.
is astounding to see him. So it's been so good. Meanwhile, let's get to the start of the game. Like we've gone long enough. Devin Maccabee,
Well,
just
before you say that, just go down a few comments. Greg McManus wants, and I don't know if you knew this, he says, but Chuck and AOC played Pee Wee football together, so they know
I,
each other. I don't know
I've
if you heard
never
that.
I've never heard this. I've never seen that picture. Actually, legitimately, I've probably only seen that picture once or twice of them because we've been at so many of the
I was going to say,
games.
you've been at most of the games, so you don't see you guys who hear if they have to listen to Matt Millen. Thoughts and prayers are with you, but we didn't have to. We instead had to listen to, and I'm not making this up, a 30th birthday party for some Nebraska bros, literally in the row behind us, and they
That's
were
right.
wearing matching shirts.
They were. That was cute with the
It
guy's
was
face
adorable,
on it. That was adorable.
super cool, super cool.
It was great.
But yes, player of the game. Sorry, player of the game.
Oh,
With 30 rushes, 178 yards, a 5.9 average, and a touchdown. Devin Maccabee, who I don't know, has Devin. Maybe we need to get to work. We're falling down on our. We used to be really good at giving nicknames that no one but us used. But Maccabee needs a nickname.
I don't know. He could have his own line of honey. The Maccabees. You know what I mean? Maccabees, like West Lafayette natural honey.
Come on, get stung by the Maccabee.
Exactly. Exactly. The wasp. It's nonsense.
The wasp.
It's
Yeah, I don't know.
nonsense.
See, this is what I mean. We're not very good at this.
Yeah, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Um, no, he was incredible. He is so decisive. He's so like you could see it for again in person. You notice the speed at which, or like the lack of hesitation whenever he makes a decision, right? And it's always kind of naturally towards where the line is leading him. I mean, I could also say the line gets the game ball because that offensive line was just manhandling Nebraska. It was really this was their most impressive game of the year, including the Minnesota game. Minnesota might be frauds, who knows? But like that offensive line was so good, it was creating holes for Maccabee, and he was hitting them without hesitation. And but then when you watch, it's so in person, you see that decisiveness because it's like especially when you're low, that's when you realize like even in high level college football, like these athletes are like so much more athletically superior than like the normals out here,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not even talking about pros. And so you really see when somebody like Maccabee stands out. But then watching the replay, it's like this guy's produced for your starter. I mean, like he's going to be up if he lasts. Like he'll probably because he's like running backs tend to do, but he's going to be one of those mid-round running backs that ends up like producing an absurd amount in the pros, being that cheap
If
rookie running back that like
If he
NFL
plays like
plays.
this
I mean,
for
if
4
he grows
years,
like this,
he's a
yeah,
freshman. And
yeah.
he's let me just so he's got 80 attempts, 453 yards, a 5.7 yard average, which like let's not that's really good. Really
Hmm.
good. And 5 touchdowns. He's had a touchdown in every game he's played in except for the FAU game. And here's the crazy thing, he didn't touch the field against Penn State. So
Nope.
he's only played in 6 games and he's got 453 yards. So he's got another 5 games where you would have to assume he's going to be getting the majority of the carries unless something changes. Um, yeah, I mean he has a shot at approaching 1,000 yards. I think it'll
Oh yeah.
probably be more like 850, 900, but that's a hell of a freshman year. And we've already got 5 touchdowns. So what do you pencil him in for? 3 or 4 more at an absolute
Oh, at
minimum?
minimum. Oh, at
Right.
minimum. He's getting those goal line ones as well,
Yes.
especially when. So there was a. It was immediately that was the so right at the drive right after I forget, and I don't really even want to remember Nebraska's quarterback's name. Missed 3 straight throws. They settled for a field goal. That was right after Palmer basically took one to the house. That took a 13-27 lead, like right out of halftime, instantly to 20-27. So a comfortable lead at halftime
Yep.
turns into potentially the game is all of a sudden tied. So they're forced to kick the field goal, and all Purdue does that next drive is hand it off to Devin Maccabee. And
Yep.
all he does is drive them down methodically, like what, 3.5 minutes or something like that, into the end zone.
Mhm.
It was a
Mhm.
drive like I called like I've never seen Jeff Brown called before, which was
Right.
like constant nonstop runs until you stop us. It's the same guy doing it the whole way. Now, thankfully, Palmer had another one play 80-yard drive that he just caught the ball and ran in, and that was nice. That was that.
That
But
was
completely negating all of that great effort. But it is what it is.
it was yeah, what were there? Let's take a look here. Um Trey Palmer, 37-yard pass in the third quarter, 4-play drive.
That
Trey
was the one
Palmer,
before.
72-yard pass,
That's the one.
2 plays, 75 yards. Yeah, so they had a 3-yard play and a 72-yard pass, and that was what made it 34-30 at the end of the third quarter.
Great,
And
awesome,
yeah,
cool.
I don't even. Purdue then gets a field goal to make it 7. Charlie Jones catches a touchdown with 6:55, making it 43-30, and you think, okay, that's good. 1 minute later, Nebraska scores to make it
That's the one.
43-37.
That's the one. That was the stunner right there, which is like, oh no. But like the Nebraska drive right after that Charlie Jones touchdown, I think, or maybe right before that Charlie Jones touchdown. So Maccabee uh, converted that fourth down like at midfield, led to a field goal. But then
Mhm.
like Nebraska was getting it and marching down the field just like they did the whole rest of the game. And then Reese Taylor comes up with that flipping in the air pick, which was so much
Right,
more impressive when we saw it in person because there was no doubt to us that he caught it. Like even
right.
from the distance that we were at, but then watching the replays, they had to go through, they had to see it again. But like it was amazing. It was incredible. It looked like a Mario character jumping up and getting a star or something like that. It was amazing. And finally, like Nebraska's, momentum was halted a little bit. But then, don't worry about it. They have a 13-point lead. 13-point lead, by the way, because after that incredible Charlie Jones touchdown, uh, again, another one that was unbelievable timing between AOC and Charlie Jones, missed the extra point just because, and then surrender a touchdown immediately, just because nothing can be normal ever.
Just keep it interesting.
Oh,
Nothing can be normal, and Purdue has to like what's their? Let me take a look real quick here. They are. I'm trying to think of. It's weird how you push this stuff out of your head, um, but I feel like Purdue is. They haven't had like a clear win, right? I mean, like a no doubter.
I
Like
mean, no, I mean the Indiana State game, right? But then like dating back to Tennessee last year, nope, that
the
wasn't
4 in
good.
a
By the
row.
way, that Tennessee win looks real good right now. The last team to
to
beat
beat Tennessee.
That's right. We don't want a rematch. We're good. That's the series. We're done.
No part of them
We
ever
respect
again.
you, Hendon Hooker.
Yes, and very happy to have won. But yeah, this 4-game win streak, FAU by 2, Minnesota by 10, which might as well be a million the way this team plays, and Maryland by 2, Nebraska by 6. And so this weekend, they head to just a great place. Just 18 years since Purdue has beaten Wisconsin. And the last time they
so
did
you're telling me we're due.
What? If you believe in due, wow. Like Purdue, they are very, very due to beat Wisconsin, who is terrible, it appears. 3-4, 1-3 in the conference. And yet, the ESPN matchup predictor has a 57.8% chance for Wisconsin to win. Wisconsin is favored by 2. I mean, I don't know how much of that is history because the bettors know. I don't know.
I can't remember that. I barely remember the last win. I barely remember it. And so it's like, no, thank you. I'm good. I will never see it. I'll never see it. Yeah, exactly. It was, we all remember it. Okay, you're right. But
no,
not that one.
Not that one. Was a loss, my friend.
04,
when you're thinking of, that's the one that began this. Is the famous
curse.
That's the one that began this, because I believe they won in 03. And then in 04 was the Orton, Purdue gets to number 5.
I can feel Michael he hears this in the distance.
Yeah. That bothers me less now. It did for many years, because as I've said before on this show, that was the absolute apex for Purdue football. I've always said it's very rare that you can pinpoint that for any sort of sports program. But Purdue, it's very easy for Purdue football. Number 5, undefeated, game day in town, leading in the third quarter. That you can see right where it peaked.
And then
yes, Kyle Seago says last one was 03 in Madison. Keep up, Kyle. We already said that.
Only 19 years ago. It's fine. Nothing much has happened since then.
They're due. Devin Maccabee was literally not alive.
Many of them weren't alive.
Many of them were not alive. So Wisconsin's not very good. Oh, I believe Jim Leonard, if I remember the stat correctly, I believe he returned a touchdown in the last time Purdue.
Oh, Jesus
Christ. That's the kind of stuff. That's the good stuff right there. The guy on the sidelines was a player.
Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness.
It's so bad. It's so bad, man. So I'll chalk this one up as a loss and Iowa as a win, and that's fine. I'll get 1-1.
You were ready to chalk up Minnesota as a loss. You were ready to chalk.
Yeah. I was 1-3 October. 1-3 October. It's turned into 3-0.
You hater. Get off our bandwagon. You're not welcome.
I am.
Here.
You're right.
Not welcome.
You're right. Here. After that FAU game, yeah, I was. You're right.
Didn't feel so good about that one. Yeah, I do remember walking out of there like, oh boy,
indigestion. It wasn't.
Little did we know, every game would just be that way. It doesn't matter the opponent.
Maybe it's just like now we're used to it. Maybe it's just now we know. At least we know that nothing can be normal.
If you told me Purdue was going to score 43 on Nebraska, I would have said, okay, terrific. Yeah. It is definitely a win, but woof, baby. The other thing that Purdue's been doing is scoring points, and nobody's making a thing out of this. Like, Purdue scores a lot of points. Like, there's no, and I guess we weren't. What's that?
What did we? So 600 yards in this last game. We found out later that we almost had the all-time record in first downs.
Yeah. So Purdue. So that's the thing that's a little weird. It depends who you talk to. And I didn't think first downs were like a subjective stat, but I saw on Twitter someone reporting that Purdue had 40 first downs. ESPN's game matchup still has Purdue at 38 first downs, and the all-time record is like 45. Nebraska only
2 first downs got rescinded, I guess.
I guess. I don't understand how one is reporting 40 and one's reporting 38. 38 is still a lot of first downs. And the thing that to me is really jarring is Time of possession, Purdue had the ball 42-42. Nebraska had it for 17-18.
Yeah, Palmer didn't
And
need that much time because all he did was get wide open and sprint.
they either went 3 and out or
Yeah.
they threw a 72-yard touchdown.
Exactly. It's fine.
And
It's a pretty efficient offense.
circling back to our favorite topic, Nebraska football, one of my favorite little subplots going on Twitter was the little contingent after that game. There's a little growing contingent saying maybe Mickey Joseph is the guy. You know, he had us in that game. We didn't have any right being in that game. Guys, part of coaching is not getting manhandled that way. If you think that a guy is the right coach, but your team goes 3 and out a lot and only has the ball for 17 minutes, things aren't exactly going well. It's not like you guys hung with Ohio State for 38 minutes or something.
It's two different thoughts here, right? Which is Mickey Joseph could be the guy. Again, you could get Mickey Joseph. He's a Nebraska guy. You could, you could get good coordinators. You could hope for that he understands the fan base and understands and is the coordinator, the CEO type head coach, all of this, right? But that Purdue game didn't tell you anything. I mean, like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? But the mighty Nebraska is making decisions like this. It's great. So it's I mean, like it was amazing. What I would like to say is that regardless of whether Purdue wins or loses against Wisconsin, we need that bye, man. People need to nap and just rest an ice bucket a little bit because it's like everybody's limping, man.
Yeah, so the best thing to do right before you get that break is to go into Madison, play Wisconsin,
a known soft team. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. The Big Ten is so easy. I saw who was chirping this week? I think it was I think it was Louisville fans. I saw Louisville fans.
Unlike them, out of character.
Unlike them. I saw them making fun of Purdue's schedule. And I said something like, fans of Louisville making fun of a Big Ten schedule for not being strong enough is like the highest of high comedies.
I will accept this from Florida or LSU fans or Tennessee fans or something like that. Yeah, Louisville doesn't get to do that. They've got to play UNC, man. It's rough.
That's true.
It's rough out there. They've got to play Duke a couple of times.
So what was I'm sorry, I just got distracted reading Greg's comment because our friend Greg is out in Nebraska land. He lives out in Lincoln. He said he had 2 Husker narratives leveled at me on Sunday. One was, we are so bad, the dream still isn't very good, and we're so much better than we were last month. That's always the best. It's like, there is an option. There's a third option, Nebraska fans. You could just stop talking. Stop talking.
Oh, it's great because we turned to the guys behind us afterwards and we tried to make nice a little bit after the game or after that Charlie Jones. It was this game was it was Jay Buddy's turn to be super annoyed and snap a little bit at the people around us, but. We turned around. I think you were the one, Jay, who was turned around and was saying like, oh, so who do you want to be the head coach again? Like, all things considered, who do you want? And they were like dumbfounded. They had no idea. They didn't know, and they just said, Urban Meyer, why not? I was like, oh, this is a smart fan base right here.
Urban Meyer, like, what kind of a fan are you? You don't even have you don't even have like an opinion. You don't even have and I mean, I guess that's just it. Is you don't want to live in reality. If they lived in reality, then they wouldn't be Nebraska football fans.
There you go.
Yeah. So Urban Meyer. Yeah.
Tremendous.
Great answer. Yeah, we haven't even talked about our coaching candidates. Now that Matt Rule is back on the market, he's another one that would be a smart hire. I don't know if they'll go for
here's the thing: there's so many smart options for them. Like, I honestly think they could do Mickey Joseph, and it'd be a perfectly fine, rational, smart thing to do. Right. Urban Meyer's on the market, so who knows? Right? Like, who knows? And the other thing is, like, this coaching carousel is going to get nuts. So who knows who's going to get bought out and what flashy name is out there? And like, imagine if Texas A&M buys out what's his face, Jimbo.
I don't think.
What do you mean? What, you don't think it could happen in this market?
I don't think $90 million
in this economy. You don't think it could happen?
I don't know. I think we may have found one that's that's kind of ironclad because his doesn't go down considerably ever.
No, I
Like
think it
it
goes
just
up with inflation. Like, I think it
it
just
seems to like inch down. It's like in a couple, like 4 years from now, it's still 70 or something.
86 million. It's 90 million
Something.
now. 4 years from now, it's 86 million. Somehow it grows.
They wrote in this rollover clause where the money just fills up onto the other side of the
Oh,
thing.
that's it.
Yeah, they're not going to get rid of him. I don't think. I mean, gosh,
It'd be funny.
I want them to be in a position where they feel like they really have no choice but to do so.
If it happens, we need to go live to Texas A&M with our BS correspondent Michael there, just just to interview people on the street.
I have to tell you, I've gandered over at the Twitter notifications, and so far we haven't gotten very much. But I do have one that it's interesting. It's actually a visual, and we were just talking before this show about sharing things in this. We're going to give this a try. Stand by.
While you pull this up, can I take a second right now?
Sure.
Oh, you got it. Oh, you've got it. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Look at this technology that we got. I was 6 by week 21.
Iowa losing to the bye week.
Oh, it's tremendous. Still out to receive them. It's fine. What a waste of space.
What a fraud program.
What a fraudulent program. I'm sure they're going to beat us, but it's fine. I'll still make jokes. You can never stop me. You will never stop me.
What did you want to take a moment to discuss?
I just want to take a moment to congratulate our brethren, our Hoosier brethren, for being the first program ever to reach the hallowed threshold of 700 losses. Tremendous.
First NCAA program to lose 700 football games.
Just amazing.
Indiana. Great job.
It's so
Great
good.
job,
The full cast guys, were saying now's the time to self-report some violations and say, nope, those losses didn't happen.
Oh my goodness.
It's so good. And eventually there's somebody's going to be the first team to lose to the first team that lost 700 games. And that's going to be rough, and I hope it's not Purdue.
I don't think it's going to. Well, yeah, that's a good point. It could be Purdue.
Yeah, well, it could be. I mean, it's a rivalry game. It was funny. Brom in the press conference was talking about the schedule getting harder and harder, and I'm like, I that's just coach speak, because like the schedule gets easier, man. And like all of a sudden Illinois is really good, but like the schedule ends with Northwestern and Indiana. It's like those should be 2 free wins, and somehow this year I'm still nervous.
Right. Oh, I'm nervous. I mean, that's the thing. There are people out there talking about Purdue. Look at their schedule. Yeah, at Wisconsin versus Iowa, at Illinois versus Northwestern, at Indiana. Okay, so you have 2 teams coming up that were ranked this year, and then you've got a team that is ranked, and then you've got Northwestern. Okay, then you've got Indiana, who hates Purdue. So it's not like, I'm trying to think of someone to compare it to. This is not a Clemson in the ACC a few years ago kind of schedule where there's one challenge throughout the year and that's it.
I mean, it's still quite a humorous division, but like I'll still take it.
It's a humorous division. Hey man,
yeah. I mean, it's it's fine. It's a fine division.
Win the game. Well, this is how Paul Chryst got fired for not winning this division easily, for not being out front.
Win the games that are in front of you, and we were first of all, what I do want to acknowledge is Purdue's real just knack for thriftiness and efficiency with the amount of porta potties that are available at the tailgating lots. There's only 6. 6 per tailgating lot is plenty. It's plenty if there are 3,000 people in the tailgate lot. It's totally fine just to have 6. It's great. Don't worry about it. So in the long line we were talking, and people were saying like, oh, the West is set up for Purdue, and it's like, talking, and Nebraska fans are like, yeah, it looks good. They're at their low moment, so they're saying, yeah, sure, Purdue could look good, things like that. And it's like, just when has anything ever gone wrong when everything is set up for Purdue? It's fine. It's great. So just win the ones in front of you for once, and I'll be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, someone in Kyle Seago just pointed out that they played a pillowy soft non-con while ours included Syracuse. Yeah, isn't that funny? Isn't that the Purdue way that they wind up getting Syracuse. The first time since 1987 that Syracuse has started 6-0, something along those lines. They get
Dino's
that
best
Syracuse
season. Yep.
team. I mean, come on. Yeah, and to your porta potty comment, one thing I did notice though, as we got closer to the stadium, the higher end parking seemed to have more. The rich seem to do better, even when it comes to peeing.
This is what happens. It's trickle down. It's trickle down economics. That's it. It's real trickle down economics. If you put it there, it's fine. That's trickle down. It's fine. You put more, places to pee for the people that can afford it more. It'll trickle down to us poors. Wait, what?
We parked at there's a field across from Alexander Field, across from the baseball field, that I didn't know was an option. I'd never parked all the way up there.
We knew it was an option as students, but it seemed like Timbuktu. That might have been, that might as well have been Chicago.
It felt like it at first, but the walk is really not that bad. Not that bad.
It's real nice through the trees, through the golf courses. It's actually quite a nice. Jay and I were holding hands, took a nice stroll. It was real good.
Yeah, very much.
It was real nice.
All right, so let's get to it. What?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what are you feeling this weekend?
No loss. Absolutely. There's nothing that could happen that would get me to expect a win at Wisconsin. You're insane. You're insane. I will never do it. I will gladly be surprised. I think I'll be surprised. I think this team is, I know this team is better, but I'm not going to expect it. I'm going to roll in there arrogant and whatnot. I can't remember seeing it. So why would I expect it? No, thank you. Loss. 2 games. Just get the game out of stupid range. That's it. If we're going to win the game out of stupid range. If not, just go ahead and take your normal loss and let Braylon Allen run a whole bunch, because that's what Wisconsin running backs do, and let it be at least relaxing in that way too. But it's going to be a barn burner, isn't it? It's going to be a 1-point game. Go with 2 minutes left. It's terrible.
So, yeah, I'm not there with you. I agree that we haven't seen this, but this team, Jeff Brom, AOC, they've proven that they're not your fathers or grandfathers or great grandfathers football team
that plays Wisconsin.
They've shown something, and I'm with you in the sense that literally, when you've never seen something, there's no way to believe it actually exists. But I'm told that
what you're talking about.
You can win. You can win in Wisconsin, in Madison. It does happen. Not for Purdue.
Matt Painter can do it, but I don't know.
Matt Painter has no trouble with it. Right.
Matt Painter can do it. What was Bizarro Matt Painter, East Lafayette's Matt Painter, Tom Sculptor? Bizarro Matt Painter is Tom Sculptor from East Lafayette.
Guy, Tom Sculptor, who's a terrible regular season coach, but always seems to do well in the tournament. It's very weird. Everything's just very backwards in East Lafayette.
Very svelte.
Yeah. Oh, but short.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I can't do it. I can't predict it. I don't know. If it happens, it happens. But
South Haven Boiler over on the side says that he saw someone's early prediction at Kentucky versus the Boilers in the Pinstripe Bowl. If we win the West, are we clear of playing the Pinstripe Bowl? Absolutely. If you win the West, I would say, if you win the West, you're no worse than so I looked today, I'm forgetting what it's even called.
I have no idea. The old Outback Bowl.
No. This is something else. It's in, maybe it is the Outback Bowl.
Yeah, because it's Tampa, right?
It's in Tampa, yes.
Yeah.
It's like the something Quest, whatever, not Car Quest, some other stupid thing. But it's January 2nd, which is really super weird. And it's the Big Ten third team. Remember, that's not necessarily third place. That's third choice for the bowl. But nevertheless, Big Ten third versus an SEC team. I think it said something like anywhere from third to eighth choice. So you could get anybody. So the Athletic had Purdue playing Kentucky still, per that question that South Haven Boiler put up, but playing them in that January 2nd bowl in Tampa, the old Outback Bowl. So That would be great. And I think if you win the West, you're in the Big Ten title game, which means you are, at worst, the runner-up in the Big Ten title game, which actually, I mean, unless I'm mistaken, that could lead to a Rose Bowl, couldn't it? If you lost to Ohio State, who
honestly,
makes the playoff.
If it's Ohio State makes the playoff, if Michigan does well enough to make the playoff, even with a loss to their only losses to Ohio State,
so
like that could happen, right? That'd be wild.
Let me play this out.
But then Penn State ends up I think Penn State ends up ahead of Purdue, likely no matter what, unless they keep losing, right?
If Purdue plays in the Big Ten title game and loses, they aren't the Rose Bowl automatically, right? Because it still can be. It's the next best.
Yeah, and Rose has a draft. It's a draft still.
Right. Okay.
To break out the Rose helmets. What's the worst thing that could happen?
And wear them in Tampa.
Yeah.
Let's just
exactly. Wild. Don't wear them no matter where.
Get the Buccaneers like their little flag thing through the P.
The knife through the teeth.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's what I think teams. You can't, as much as anyone can predict bowl games right now. A safe bet would be the third place or third choice Big Ten team would be in Tampa, and that would be Purdue against a good. And honestly, I'll take Kentucky if I have to play an SEC school.
What happened the last time Purdue played a good SEC school in a bowl game?
They beat them.
Oh, okay.
But
that SEC team probably wasn't very good, right? The next year they kind of flopped and nothing really happened for them.
That team has not lost since. They just beat
incredible,
Alabama.
But they haven't played a team like Alabama or anything like that, right? Tremendous.
They are now, what are they, third now?
Yeah.
Something asinine?
They should probably be second. Like,
and they'll probably lose their next game.
Ohio State does not have a win like that. Nobody has a win like that. They're undefeated with a tough schedule. They should be at worst second to me. Like, it should be them and Georgia at top, and then Ohio State. That was incredible. Which we saw 3 quarters of in the parking lot because we live in magical times and we can just bring a TV box to a tailgate and watch football games while we're waiting for Purdue games to happen. It's magic. We live in magic times.
It is magic times. It's I always like to say we're in the future. This is what, when you were growing up, you were like, one day we'll have a flat screen TV watching in high definition in a field plugged into a magic box.
We are our ancestors' wildest dreams, sitting there in a field watching Alabama, Tennessee.
For no reason, exactly, while eating sliders.
But then you walk past the guys who had that minivan with that 42-inch TV screen just blasting in them, and you realize, I've got steps to go.
Anisha's criticizing my screen size. Look,
it's the girth that matters.
I brought what fits. Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. It's fine.
So over on Twitter, I asked people tonight. I decided to mix it up. I said, since we always talk about over-unders, gambling, for fun, of course, and the like, give us some idiotic betting lines. Over-under fried Oreos you can eat, odds on Jeff Brom leaving, that sort of stupidity. We'll see how this goes. That's what I said. So let's take a look here and see what we've got. Doc Wattis comes in right away and says, sets the over-under. This is silly. This is taking money from you, Doc. Over under 10.5, the number of Eat AJ's mac and cheese bites you could eat in 5 minutes. 5 minutes?
This is a dentist. This is a dentist talking. This is a healthy dentist talking.
Mac and cheese bites aren't the worst thing. It's not. He didn't ask about candy.
That's true. The Oreos would have been bad.
But Anish, mac and cheese bites, 10.5 in 5 minutes.
I could just keep going. You don't even feel the full in that 5 minutes. Your brain is still processing that fake cheese and fried that's in your mouth. It's not even processing how full you are yet. It's infinite.
Nate Hartman says to pull up the screen. Why? You can. I just read it to you. You don't need me to put this up on the screen. You can.
We need to read it. We need closed captioning.
But here's the problem, guys. When we do that, it's hard for, look at the next one I'm going to bring up. I don't want to let you too far behind the curtain here.
No, we can't. No, way over.
All right, here's one that is not specific to what I was saying for tonight. I'm stalling so that I can bring it up on the screen. Blue Ridge Boiler asks, assuming the Boilers win out in football with 1 loss, would you rather beat Whiskey like a drum in Madison than lose to IU by 2 touchdowns, or get blown out in Madison and then blow out IU. Now, the second is the normal order of things.
Yeah, that's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
So I think blowing out Wisconsin in Madison might be, because both games are on the road. So either way, you don't get to do it at home. I mean, if you only have one more loss, you're 9-3.
So here's the thing. It really depends on the Iowa and the Illinois game, right? Which is, you could lose that Iowa-Illinois game. Or, I mean, you could lose this Wisconsin game as long as you beat Iowa and Illinois and you still won the West, right?
Right.
So and you beat IU just because you
But
beat
losing
IU
to
like a
IU
drum.
doesn't hurt you in your division chase. I mean, it hurts
No,
you
but
a
it
little.
hurts my soul. I don't care. I don't care about this. Do you think I care about division? I went this far in my life without caring about division titles.
It hurts my soul. Man.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Here's one that coming in from, hold on. Again, it's from Kevin Spry. Takes a minute to get this up. Wait, what? What did I say?
What?
Over under 3.5 Pepto whiskeys during the fourth quarter on Saturday.
Just the best part of being at the game is that I did not have access to Pepto whiskey. The worst part is that my indigestion out of control.
You didn't have access to Pepto whiskey?
I to one or another part of that concoction, but like, who knows? Whom can say which half?
It turns out that they don't really care what you bring in to Ross-Ade. They're not looking.
Because nobody comes in there. It's fine.
Because nobody comes into Ross-Ade.
It's fine.
Okay,
you could sneak Pepto. You could sneak Pepto. It's fine.
You could sneak.
Do shots of it on the.
There was a guy as we were about to go in, and may or may
put in a whole rotisserie chicken.
We may or may not have been sliding little like.
No, don't give away company secrets.
No trade secrets. We may or may not have been repositioning things we were bringing in, and a guy is like, "Hey, they have metal detectors on the way in," and we're like, "Metal detectors? Where the hell do you think you are? What are you talking about, man?" And he's like, and instead of just leaving it at that, maybe he wanted to give more information so we didn't think, "Oh, do you have a gun?" Because he goes, "Yeah, I got my pocket knife with me." I was like, "We're gonna go over."
I'm sure you do, Bucko. There's a big boy over here.
We don't know this guy.
Crocodile Dundee with his knife.
Exactly. He's like, "I got my knife," and he pulls it out of like a sheath. Can this come in? That's what my wife would do. She would accidentally bring a knife, and then she'd take it out and ask. She's like,
"This is being polite. Okay? You got to. It's fine."
Blue Ridge Boiler asks, between J Money, Boiler Dad, and Anish, what would be the order of finish for eating 3 Chipotle burritos after, I think he means fasting for a day, and then immediately running a mile-long race?
I have eaten 3 Chipotle burritos.
I've
done that part of it. I do that. I've done it. I'm not proud of it, but I'd do it again.
So who could eat 3 and then a mile?
I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. I wouldn't be happy about it, but I could do it.
Anish has a couple of things going. He's got age on his side, and he's got long legs. The strides, it's to take fewer strides to accomplish that mile. And that's all. Efficiency is the order of the day. If this is
it's Halloween season. I'm like Jack Skellington. Yeah.
Boiler Dad's legs. That's a lot of stuff.
He's like DJ Knox out here.
He does have a certain DJ Knox sort of shape to him, doesn't he?
He's a rhombus, yeah. You don't want to run into him. I'm good. I don't want to knock into him. Are you kidding?
Nate Hartman, who was Nate the one who earlier asked me to put this on the screen?
No, maybe that's why Nate with his ulterior motives.
Nate just wants to be famous. Nate says, over under 1.5 Ferences employed by the Hawkeye football team next season.
Way over. You could put it at 2.5 and I'd take the over.
Well, he says in his disclaimer here, I only know about Kirk and Brian. For all I know, is nepotism runs deep, and there's a 19-year-old Ferentz videographer in the stadium DJ. It's Kirk's cousin, and half the security team is Ferentz's, and the head of the ticket office is Kirk's niece. All very possible.
I think it's all absolutely true.
Yeah. Frauds.
Just a fraudulent program.
How do you fire your son? I mean, is it something you can do?
With gusto. I mean, like, give him the buyout. That's the best gift that a father could give the son. Here, take this money and leave legally. You can
And
tell
I'll
you're
do.
great.
I don't think we have too many. I'm gonna say. Nate did want to be. It does have ulterior motives. There's no doubt. He has another one here. See if you can. Anyone, Anish, anybody watching, see if you can follow this. I'll read it aloud for those.
Read it word for word, please, because
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm already lost.
For those just listening, this is even harder. 3 Big Ten schools are already bowl eligible. 4 more are likely to get there, and Northwestern doesn't have a prayer. But 6 Big Ten teams have 3 wins and need 3 more for bowl eligibility. MSU, IU, Rutgers, Nebby, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Over under 2.5 of these disappointments get to bowl eligibility.
I feel like it's like Charlie has 6 apples. The store is 12 miles
Rutgers
away.
has 2 apples.
And his buggy moves at 13 miles an hour.
And there's a train with smoke coming out of the smokestack. What?
Christy is moving due north by Raven at 14 miles an hour. She is dropping peaches. How many green beans are planted in the field? Like, I don't know. I don't understand. Nate. Your first question was very good. Your Iowa question, your Iowa scenario, your multiple variances, tremendous. This one, I don't know.
Is he saying over under 2.5 of those 6 teams?
So basically,
getting to
Michigan State, IU, Rutgers, Nebraska, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Over under 2 of those teams, 2.5 of those teams gets bowl eligible. Right?
I think probably over. Probably. I think they'll probably slap each other around enough. Yeah. But I think here. This is a we can
naturally IU wins out and gets bowl eligible. It's fine. Right. Tom Allen saves his job. That's what he does.
Nebraska has 3 wins, and they have Illinois, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa. I mean, they could get 3 in there. They could beat. Yeah, that's Nebraska's.
Yeah,
Illinois, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa.
It would be hilarious if Mickey Joseph got them to a bowl after 6 years of Scott Frost not being able to.
Oh, gosh.
In fact, I'm kind of rooting for Mickey Joseph now.
Exactly. Wisconsin has 3 wins. They have Purdue, Maryland, Iowa, Nebraska, Minnesota. They could absolutely win 3 games. No doubt.
I guess, but this Wisconsin, I don't know.
Those are not great teams.
No, there are no great teams in the West, man. There's 2 great teams probably in the Big Ten.
Rutgers has Indiana, Minnesota, Michigan.
How many wins are they at right now?
They have 3.
Okay.
All these teams have 3. That was the starting point of that.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was too many numbers. Okay, I get it.
They have Indiana, Minnesota, Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, and Maryland. They could beat Indiana. They could beat Michigan State. And then maybe they get lucky against Maryland or Minnesota. Probably.
I mean, Maryland. Or Michigan, Tagovailoa might be out.
Yeah.
So that's tough.
So I'm going to say over the 2.5 that he set, because I think Northwestern's the only lost cause in my mind.
And while we're reading off schedules, let's just stick in the West. Let's end this by sticking in the West. And Purdue's, as we predicted in the preseason, that the Big Ten West would come down to Purdue and Illinois, the 2 powerhouses of the Big Ten West.
Who would not have? Who couldn't be surprised by that?
No, nobody. It's a Goliath. Illinois is at Nebraska, home versus Michigan State and Purdue, at Michigan, and at Northwestern.
So the problem here is that Illinois is decent. Inexplicably, their only loss of the season is a 3-point loss to Indiana. Otherwise, we're talking about a 7-0 Illinois right now.
Okay? And honestly, Illinois blew out Wisconsin at Wisconsin, right? If your biggest argument for Purdue going in and winning big is that Illinois went in there and did that, right?
Yep.
And Purdue can put up points better than Illinois can. Illinois' running back is still great. Illinois' defense is still great, but Purdue can put up points better than Illinois.
Well, the problem go ahead.
Yeah, but now Purdue just can't play smart and calm football. So that's the issue.
The problem here, I think, is that Illinois really Now, could they trip and fall at Nebraska? Sure, they could.
Yeah.
But they've got at Nebraska. They should win that. They're versus Michigan State. They really should win that. The Purdue game, who knows, right? Let's say Purdue wins it. That's fine. Let's give Purdue that one. Then the only real tough one they've got left that's kind of like really unlikely they would win is at Michigan. Then they finish at Northwestern. So you have to assume, I think, you have to assume at least 2 or 3 more wins, right? At least.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. Out of 5. If they went 2 and 3, that's a gift for Purdue. That is
This is what we were talking about at the beginning of the season, though, which is like Illinois still has their margin of error and Purdue does not. I guess Purdue
Right.
kind of won it back a little bit right now by grabbing a few unexpected ones. But like, walking into October, Purdue's margin of error was 0. And by winning 3 straight games, they kind of got it back. Like Illinois is 6-1.
But in conference, they're both 3-1. So
exactly.
It comes down to that game against them. Now, if you assume they both take care of business as they should, perhaps Illinois loses at Michigan. Let's put that on the board. Perhaps Purdue loses at, I don't know, Wisconsin.
It seems viable. I'm following you so far.
This all sounds possible. Then really it is going to come down to Purdue at Illinois. I saw someone make a point that, hey, game day has never come to Illinois. They're one of the few Power Fives
Actually,
that
would be a ridiculous game day game, and I'd be all for it. It's so good.
So great. It'd be
so funny. It'd be such an ironic game day. It'd be so many college football nerds would go to that one just for the irony.
I mean, in all likelihood, man, they're going to be 8-1.
Iowa? Illinois. I'm sorry.
Illinois will be 8-1. They got Nebraska and Michigan State between now and then.
I think they probably drop one of those. I think they drop a dumb game. They're due dropping a dumb game here soon enough.
Well, they already dropped a dumb game to IU. You could argue that's their dumb game.
That's the dumbest loss anybody's ever taken. A 3-point loss in overtime to IU. Was it overtime? I don't know, but 3-point loss to IU. But
it doesn't matter. They lost. I mean, if they're 8-1 and Purdue is 6-2.
That's rough, man.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Purdue would be 7-2.
7-2. Yeah. Purdue
7-2 and 8-1.
I mean, that's the thing.
They'd both be ranked.
Purdue has made it through 7 games and has 5 wins. No matter how we got here, we're here now. It's good. This is great. It doesn't matter how we got here. It may be trying to touch your nose by going all the way around your head, but we're here. We're here now. We're touching our noses.
Those videos you see of terrible drivers on Reddit or whatever, where it's like a person who's so clueless they're driving their car with the wheel all the way off and it's just sparking and they're still driving down the highway and it's doesn't matter. We got here.
We made it.
That's all that matters.
That's it. You got from point A to point B.
I'd like to thank our sponsors, Martin Vintage, enter Boyle at checkout, get 15% off your entire order. And our friends at AJ's, that's at eatajs.com.
What's that URL one more time?
Eatajs.com. Not like ajs.edu or anything like that.
.biz.
It's eatajs.com. But it's less important that you know their URL. I think you can order online there. It's more important that you know they're on Vine Street in West Lafayette. And they already got a little plug when someone smartly asked a question about their mac and cheese bites. Anish and I learned
product placement in planted questions. That's how great we are if you sponsor the show.
We learned too late, sadly, that they have funnel cake fries.
Oh yeah,
funnel cake fries. So I will be back probably for basketball at some point, and I'm not going to miss out on funnel cake fries next time or mac and cheese bites. I think we did have those. Penn State game, we had those.
Thinking about the basketball game that we were planning on with an AJ's trip. Oh man! Oh, that is a good one.
That is a good one. Yeah.
Well, we've been talking to each other for an hour. We haven't really talked much this weekend, so it's telling our significant others. Oh, I haven't talked to J Buddy in a little bit. I haven't talked to him in hours. So I've got to go talk for an hour.
Yeah. It's the people who drive every weekend to tailgate for college football, man. You are committed, because not that people usually go as far as I did on that one, but man, that is a long way.
New Jersey, you were, I mean, like, because you stopped a couple times, like, when you were on the road, you were hitting it, but, like, you kind of, on the way back, took a couple stops and, like, stretched legs and things like that. That was like and hit traffic in bustling Pittsburgh.
Oh man,
That was like 11 hours or no, 12 hours on the road for you?
the way back was over 12. Yeah,
Oof.
yeah, yeah, 12 plus. I mean, if you include stops, it was closer to, it's like 13 and a half. Like we
That's
left
nuts.
Lafayette at 10:30 a.m. and I pulled into my house around midnight.
Oof.
Yeah, oof is right.
That's that
A long
Steelers
way.
traffic, man. That Steelers traffic is a killer.
You know what I learned, and I have learned with you living there, is Pittsburgh is not convenient to anything unless you're on a boat.
Mm-hmm. A
That's why it's
speedboat trying to get from Pittsburgh to New Orleans, we can get you there. We got you. Don't worry about it.
it's
Very
where it is
convenient.
because of the river proximity.
Yeah.
But then they were like, we don't really need to build highways too. You have rivers.
No, we've got
And
the infrastructure. Our highways are crumbling. Literally. Just crumbling bridges. It's
literally.
fine.
Yeah. Wow.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, when you
We
consider
got
add
the
several
Steelers
hours to
and
the
our
trip.
rivers. Exactly.
Mercy. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining us. Boiler Dad is on vacation this week, in case you're wondering. I probably should have said that at the beginning. He is he's getting real. It's the real world Boiler Dad. They're all what happens when you put 14 people in a house. I'm trying to remember what the taglines were for the real world. That's another thing.
14 Dowds in a house. That's it.
I think I'm sure it's very quiet.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no yelling. And the game, nothing's
all
nothing.
agreements. Everybody agreeing with everybody else.
Right. A lot of very
no random wild opinions.
No Monopoly boards being flipped over or anything like that. Yeah.
You're not supposed to do anything on free parking. It says free. You don't put anything on free parking. None of these arguments happening in the Dowd household.
Well, anyway, it's been an hour and 6 minutes, and I think we've done enough damage for this evening. Thanks everyone for joining us. Your 5-2 Boilers head to Madison, and we'll see. It'll either be a happy show next week, or it will be, well, what it normally is.
Same show that we've given you for 18 years now.
That's right. Good night, everyone.